Welcome to another exclusive interview on 1851. This time we're talking with Jeffrey Miller and James Webb of BeBalanced, along with David Catello, who is the CEO. We're going to dive into why this brand, why now, and why these experienced franchise operators have joined the brand. David, thank you for joining us. Jeffrey and James, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you guys spending some time with us. So what I would like to do, David, let me start with you. Why don't you position this story? How do you even get connected to Jeffrey and James, and talk about the opening of that relationship?
Well, I believe that the connection was through some targeting marketing work we were doing, looking for experienced business people to join us in our brand in the state of Texas. And that's how we got connected. And then we ended up getting on the phone and chatting and talking about the whole opportunity.
And James, I want to go to you on this. Obviously, tell me a little bit about your background to help frame this. But your background specifically is going to lead into this question, which is there are thousands of franchise brands that would kill to have you as a franchisee. I'm sure you were getting solicited by all these other brands. Give us a little bit of your background, and then why and how do you guys even end up with BeBalanced as the solution for your portfolio?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me into this conversation. My background is pretty much had been in healthcare my entire career, specifically medical imaging, and I sort of built a platform of multiple locations. I built 28 imaging centers, 63 pain management facilities, and then later got involved in the Orangetheory fitness brand. And we sort of applied our same concept and grew that. That's great. Phone's going off. Probably record this again. Tell me what you want me to do with that phone going off. I apologize for that.
No, you're good. Keep going. Just keep going. You're on a train.
So we got involved with the Orangetheory fitness franchise early. And love the brand, love the excitement of the brand, and grew that into 31 locations across North Texas and became Orangetheory Fitness's largest franchisee. Toward the end of that journey, we exited with a private equity group, and we were contacted by a group that said, hey, there's this new exciting concept called BeBalanced. And we dug into it. Jeffrey and I dug into it together. We actually put 3 of our fellow friends through the program ahead of time with very much success. And it reminded me a lot of the fact that it was an exciting new brand, a lot of roots in it that made sense to us. And so we got a hold of David and jumped on board.
Appreciate that. And Jeffrey, so when you guys are evaluating this brand, obviously you've just gone through with the Cinderella of franchising. As it exists right now. Orangetheory has been at the top of the list for the last few years. So you're exiting a system like that. So you know what to look for in a brand. What attracted you to it? What were some of the things that excited you about this opportunity?
Well, first off, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this conversation. And also, the success of the program is one of the key factors. We have a really high success rate here in Texas. We're upwards of 90% of all of our clients showing the success that they want to achieve. Secondly, it has a fairly low cost and overhead to get started. So the development of multiple franchises was in very reasonable cost. Secondly, the success of the program kind of sells itself as it goes along. So references are abundant. Each person that takes the program then becomes a part of the community and a part of the BeBalanced lifestyle. And with that positive motivation out there from all the people who take the program, it's a brand that's easy to grow. So low cost, profitability, and a product that people believe in.
So a lot of the things you're saying, I would assume those are some of the similar things that you guys saw, James, in the Orangetheory brand. And even if you go back to imaging before then, when you're evaluating a business, you're looking at the viability of the product. How do the customer base, or how does the customer base react to it? And is that sticky? And then probably most importantly, it seems like scalability ends up being important. So if the brand ends up having too many locations, or you're not going to be able to grow in the areas of Texas that you want to, that may have put you into another direction. Are those some of the things that you were looking at as you're evaluating this brand, and then ultimately what you liked about it, James?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I echo everything Jeff said, but specifically for this brand, it was the fact that we believed in the product, we believed in the cost structure, and probably most importantly, as you mentioned, scalability. We had a chance to lock down some areas with David, to make some long-term commitments, so that we knew that we had a product that we could take it from our initial 3 stores we have now up to our 25 to 30 that we plan to do. That was a really key component for us.
So David, when you're listening to this, obviously part of what you've done as CEO of this brand has been to make sure operational excellence is there, so that eventually you could have a conversation with people like James and Jeffrey. As you hear this, does it feel like mentally you feel like you've taken the right steps as an emerging brand, and this adds a little bit more validation and credibility to what you're trying to accomplish?
Well, there's no doubt it adds credibility. If you bring on someone of the likes of James Webb, and of course Jeff, partnering with him to operate and run this thing, I think it gives us a lot of credibility. As far as making the right moves, just like any franchisor, when you first get started, you bring on people and you're excited, and you don't always have the absolute, perfect fit all the time. But as we moved along, we realized, hey, it's more important for us to kind of perfect as much of our systems and processes as we can before we really launch into the growth. So I think the timing has been perfect, because we've taken the last few years to really work on the operational piece of it, so that we can make it the best experience for the franchisees. And then maybe we get the opportunity to earn, which we're super thankful and are very appreciative of being able to get to partner with someone like James Webb and Jeff. So, yeah.
So James, if I'm looking at your story as an outsider, you end up being a like me, because you just proved that you could build a business and sell it on your own. You proved that you could identify a franchise brand that was scalable, could grow it and sell it to private equity. And now you've landed into this brand. There will be other people, not just in an Orangetheory fitness world, but period, that are going to say, all right, what is this guy into? What is the secret sauce, and why did he pick this brand? When you were looking at this brand and evaluating it, I would imagine you're also looking at strength of leadership. Do you believe that you're going to have a team that is going to protect your investment, and also your ability to have influence, because you were early stage at Orangetheory? Do the strength of leadership, James, and just the ability to have a voice as a franchisee, did that make a difference in your due diligence process?
Yeah, without any question, it did. I mean, we had the opportunity to meet David and Jennifer in person, spend an entire weekend with them, get to know them, get to believe in them. The leadership they've demonstrated so far is certainly appreciated by us. But again, a lot of this was about the brand. A lot of this was about the availability of the territory. And again, from our standpoint, building an infrastructure, beginning the scaling process. And for us, we're just getting started. So we're excited about it.
So Jeffrey, one of the areas that we've been talking to franchisees about has been what is going on with COVID. And COVID obviously ends up being a tremendous disruptor to every part of life and business. Now, the reality is, on the customer base of BeBalanced, there's going to still be a need for weight loss. There's still going to be a need for self-esteem. And then you talk about the immune boosters that naturally happen when you're going through the process of losing weight. So fundamentally, there's a lot of things that feel sound around this. But from your standpoint, I would love to know, maybe take me through your journey or your mind as COVID goes through up to now. Do you have a point of hesitation? And then do you get to being more bullish at some point? Are you looking at real estate and saying there's a declining cost of real estate? Maybe there's an opportunity to scale a little bit faster. Maybe take me through your mindset of how you as a business operator are navigating COVID.
Well, first off, we're taking great caution inside of all of our centers. We are open to the public, but we also offer a virtual option. So we're doing everything we can to sanitize our centers on a multi-hourly basis. And beginning of the day, end of the day, we limit contact and we use masks and social distancing inside the center to make sure all our clients are well protected to the best of our ability in the centers. As far as the business model underneath COVID, one of the beauties about BeBalanced is that it can continue to operate in COVID and out of COVID. With COVID in place, weight gain has been an issue for especially our community here in North Texas. We're seeing a lot of our clients say that they're ready to reinvest in themselves and spend time changing their image and changing their the way they view themselves. And so we're building a community around that adventure and around that journey. As far as property goes, we are seeing some declines here in the North Texas area. Pricing's a bit cheaper. Negotiations are a little bit easier to make with rental agreements and things like that. So we are seeing an opportunity to expand. We will be expanding through the coming years and negotiating those agreements now, but we're not with COVID. It's about keeping up with the science and analyzing your community and making sure that your community is supporting you in growth. And the wave has kind of come up and down a little bit. I would suggest for any operator right now, as far as pricing goes, it's a great opportunity, but keep your eye close on the community to make sure the community is ready for that growth.
James and David, I want to ask you guys the same question. David, I'm gonna go to you first with this, and then James second. So, I mean, you guys have, as business professionals, have navigated other storms before. Let's just talk about in the 2000s. We have September 11th, where everything fell out afterwards. In Chicago, where we are based, it was said that the Sears Tower would have 0% occupancy for the rest of the history of downtown Chicago. And 3 years later, it's 100% occupied. We go through 2007 and 2008, which ends up being a tremendous decline for the economy. But ultimately, we come out of that and find our pathway beyond that. And now we're obviously dealing with COVID, which creates some shakiness and turbulence. So, David, to you first, does having been through this before change your mindset in how you're dealing with this currently? That you know that we don't know when the next step or the end of perception of impact of COVID is, but does that make you say, well, what's the opportunity versus bunker down and go into hiding? David first and then James.
Sure. Yeah. My view of it is I think the really sharpest business people look past this. We know it's temporary. That's one thing we know for sure, is that it's temporary. So I think the people that are looking at business now or considering owning a business are looking past the next couple months. They're looking into the first quarter of next year, or the second quarter of next year. They know it takes time even to develop and open a business that they're just purchasing or a new franchise like this. It takes some months. So they're looking past that. And I really do believe that. As far as what we do, I do want to mention, I kind of jokingly say it's kind of like lipstick. Our market is women. They don't care what's going on. They don't care if zombies are roaming the earth. They're getting their lipstick because they need it. And that's the same thing here. It's so much more than just the weight loss as far as their self-esteem. It's also all the other menopausal symptoms that come with that. The hot flashes, the sleep, the energy. We're resolving all of that. And the side benefits in this challenge, as a side note, I know you didn't ask me about COVID, but the side benefits are actually interesting because they fit perfectly with COVID. One of them is that our program strengthens your immune system in an incredible way. And the second benefit is that it helps your body better deal with stress. Both of those are huge right now. So in this particular challenge, I would say that we're excelling, and we're really I want to take advantage. I do want to take advantage of that opportunity, knowing that people are going to be a little bit more philosophical coming out of this challenging time, and I don't know, thinking more about the meaning of life and the purpose of life, and going, I want to make a difference with the business, and this is just the perfect fit in that way. So I hope did I answer your question?
That's a good start, and I'm going to let James bring us home on this. Does your experience in business make you somewhat not scared about how to navigate this climate?
Well, it certainly doesn't make us scared, but it makes us, reevaluate things and relook at things and understand exactly the path we're going. And for us, we're still moving forward. We still believe in the product. Yes, we've slowed down the expansion just a little bit, but we're also focused on our ROI, our return on investment. And we know that with COVID and with these different situations, that we're still going to achieve our return on investment. It's just going to take a little longer. So we're patient, we're focused, and we're continuing to move forward, knowing that we'll be there.
So that's a great segue into my second to last question, James. And so this question is this: you have a lot of franchisees that enter the franchise world, and I think on step one of them entering, they're doing it to get rich. So how do I change the wealth of my family by buying one unit? And the truth is, unless it's a very, very rare situation, the only way you're going to build wealth in franchising is to build a portfolio that has multiple locations. So what you just said, I hope that people can listen to that. And you said, look, the return on investment will get there. We're just going to be a little bit more patient on it. And it doesn't change, it might help you reevaluate your growth plan, but it's not changing your outlook. Was that your mentality get into Orangetheory? The same mentality that it is with this? Does the widget become irrelevant because you learn how to just be smart with business?
Yeah, I don't know if it's smart or just lucky, but yeah, the reality is that you've got sort of two options in the franchise world. You've got the mom and pop option. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. You own a facility, you manage it, you run it, you make a living. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those of us that want to build wealth, for those of us that want to change the destiny of our families, it's about multiple locations. And it's about staying focused, developing the product, recognizing COVID, we could never forget that, and moving forward. It's that simple.
Love it. And to Jeff, maybe help me understand what's your dream with this brand? What does the future look like for you? If you're flashing forward, where is your dreams going to take you with BeBalanced?
My ultimate goal is for BeBalanced to be a household name, that people would think of us synonymously with health and wellness and a better lifestyle and a community that believes in them.
Love it. And David, just from a brand positioning standpoint, obviously when you get involved with BeBalanced, you were seeing this too. And I love the category, frankly, because you can measure success in so many different ways. You can measure it in weight loss. You can measure it in smiles. You can measure it in swagger, the walk and the strut that makes people feel proud when they have this effect. Do you feel like this is another step towards you achieving your dream on what you want to accomplish with making this brand a household name?
Oh, for sure. I mean, obviously, when you create what I think is a new industry, and when I say that, it's not new that no one ever heard of any of this. It's just that you're taking two multi-billion-dollar industries, the weight loss industry, billions of dollars, the hormone therapy industry, billions of dollars, and you're combining both of them, and that creates a new industry called natural hormone balancing. It's never existed before, so there's definitely going to be a need for building awareness. But if you're asking about James and Jeff joining the team, of course, that's going to be a huge piece or a huge step towards helping to build that awareness, because seeing someone as successful as they have been in the past and saying, hey, I choose BeBalanced, they really see that potential. And people still need to learn it for themselves, but it should have them stop and think, well, if they're doing it, let me at least look into it a little bit more. And that's what I believe is going to happen. We already have that happening. We have someone, a former CEO of a 600-person company in the state of Utah, just about to buy the whole state with his wife and develop, all the areas there. So it's exciting.
Okay, we're going to take us home with this one last question for each of you. James, I'll start with you. I've already said this. I like this category. I've always liked this category. There's not a ton of franchise players in it, so the competition isn't too high. The effects are positive, and the more branding that gets built, I believe unit level economics improve drastically for every location. So as you're doing your homework, you get pings that here's this brand, BeBalanced. As you do your homework and your due diligence, clearly you put 3 people that you were close with through the program to make sure it was actually that it could actually work. So you had proof in the product. What else did you do from a due diligence standpoint? Did you look at other brands? Did you talk with franchise owners? Maybe just a few insights on that.
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of all the above. We certainly talk to other franchise owners. That's paramount. As much as we love David and Jennifer on that visit, we still want to make sure that, that leadership is there. And of course, we got a positive feedback there. Jeff and I toured several franchise shows. We must have probably looked at, I bet, close to 100 different models of franchises. And again, counting the fact that BeBalanced is a really, really cool product, the availability and the ability to scale it was important, and it was there.
Love it. And Jeff, maybe just same question to you on due diligence. Anything that you did from a process standpoint that made you feel confident that this was the right decision?
Well, I spoke to almost all of the multi-unit owners coming into this to find about how long it took them to achieve an ROI and pay off their initial investments. And most of them were in agreement that it took about 12 months to get through paying off your initial investment, which was, that was music to my ear. So a year in and people are making their money. That's definitely a positive. I also, we spent time, we flew all over the country, went to different shows, and the concept of having a community of people to support you and to take care of you, but not where the community costs money to be a part of. Most of our main competitors out there for BeBalanced, there is a community that exists around those, but you have to pay to be a part of the community. We're creating that community with a unique individual approach, which is we're the sole company doing that in this particular area of business. And so that concept also, the uniqueness of it, the one-on-one attention was a big seller for me. Also, and some of the other concepts that we looked into, the scalability really wasn't there. The market is saturated for different restaurants and HR businesses and other things like that. It's packed. And so the availability of this business plus the ability to scale was definitely a factor.
David, let's take it home with you. Great conversation. And then this is my favorite question. If I said, what is the why you, why now? Why would anybody want to explore the BeBalanced opportunity, and why would they want to do it now? In a very, very short elevator type answer.
Mm-hmm. The biggest why is that this is the biggest need that women face as they age: stubborn weight and menopausal symptoms. Now, if you're purpose driven at all, or you care about making a difference with the business, that's one big reason. As far as I care about business, I want to make money. Well, you're dealing with an industry, again, that never existed before. And when you said there's limited competition, I always kind of say, technically, there's no competition. It's all about awareness. There is weight loss all over the place, but it's not working for the biggest demographic that are trying to lose weight, which are the women 35 plus. In addition to that, they care about their hot flashes, their mood, their sleep, all their menopausal just as much. And we're the only ones that are naturally non-medically resolving all of that. So to me, you could look at that as partly purpose driven and partly I see a huge demand out there and I want to take advantage of it. And it's only about awareness. If we get that out there, then it's barred the door. It really is, as far as growing the business.
Love it. I mean, you can tell the passion for anybody that's seeing this or watching it somewhere around the web. Great passion from all three of you. I really appreciate it. For Jeff and James and David, I'm Nick Powell's publisher of 1851 Franchise. If you'd like more information on BeBalanced, go to franchise.bebalancedcenters.com. And we look forward to hearing the stories of more folks joining this system. Take care, everybody.